Yeah, ready.
How does a man go from a palace to a firing squad? From the promise of power to the certainty of death? This is the story of Maximilian I, the emperor who believed he could conquer a distant land, but instead found himself standing before a row of rifles. His was a tale of ambition, misjudgment, and lost opportunities. But here's the question: what really led to his fall? Was it destiny or something else? Before we get to that fateful day, we need to go back to the beginning, to the moment Maximilian made the decision that would change his life forever. A decision that, in many ways, mirrors the choices we all face daily. We've all been there. Those moments when we're juggling too much, trying to keep everything in balance. And then, one small misstep sets off a chain reaction. What if I told you that this exact scenario played out on a grand scale, with the fate of an empire hanging in the balance? Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you'll see how Maximilian's rise and fall holds a lesson for us all. 1864, Maximilian of Austria arrives in Mexico to claim his throne, a throne offered to him by Mexican conservatives seeking a European ruler to stabilize their fractured nation. It was a tempting offer. Who wouldn't want to rule an empire? But Maximilian failed to see what lay beneath the surface: a country divided, a people who did not unanimously welcome him, and a political landscape far more complex than he could have imagined. Maximilian faced a choice between listening to the voices urging him to crush the resistance and those advising diplomacy. But instead of making a decisive move, he hesitated. He hoped to win over the Mexican people with reforms, but his hesitation only emboldened his enemies. Just like when we fail to act in our own lives, thinking we have more time, Maximilian's indecision set the stage for his downfall. In our daily lives, we face similar moments of indecision. It starts small, putting off tasks, avoiding tough conversations, letting things slide. But soon these small decisions compound into bigger problems. For Maximilian, it was his failure to act decisively that led him down a path of no return. Maximilian believed he could unite Mexico through compromise, but he underestimated the power of the resistance. His reforms were too little, too late, and as the Republican forces grew stronger, Maximilian found himself increasingly isolated. He had placed his trust in the wrong allies, failed to secure a strong foundation for his empire, and ultimately he ran out of time. For Maximilian, the consequences of his missteps were severe. But the truth is, we all face similar risks in our lives. Whether it's at work, in our relationships, or in managing our daily responsibilities, failing to take control of the little things can lead to bigger, more significant consequences. On the morning of June 19, 1867, Maximilian faced his executioners with dignity. But what was going through his mind in those final moments? Was he replaying the choices he'd made, the alliances, the reforms, the compromises? Could he see with clarity the chain of events that had led him to this point? And if he could go back, would he do things differently? Unlike Maximilian, you have the power to change your outcome. By making small, intentional changes today, whether it's organizing your space, setting priorities, or taking decisive action, you can prevent the small problems from snowballing into larger ones. You can take control of your life before it spirals out of control. Maximilian didn't see the consequences of his inaction until it was too late. But you can. You have the chance to rewrite your story, to avoid the pitfalls that led to his downfall. It starts with the small things, because in the end, it's those small things that determine the course of our lives. So, what will you do? Will you let the small things pile up until they lead to your own downfall? Or will you take control of your life today? Hit that subscribe button for more lessons from history, because the past holds the answers to the future's toughest questions.